feel so much better since adding more kale. Exactly, it's packed with nutrients. I've noticed a huge energy boost, and it tastes great in this salad.
Today we're focusing on kale, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. It's crucial for maintaining good health.
What if one of the greatest threats to your future isn't something dramatic? Not a heart attack, not cancer, not even aging itself, but something that happens so slowly, most people don't notice it until it's already changing their lives. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the words on your phone seem a little less sharp. The faces of people you love look slightly less clear. Night driving becomes more stressful. Reading takes more effort. And year after year, your world becomes just a little blurrier. Now here's the surprising part. Scientists have been studying a simple green leafy vegetable that may help support one of the most important organs in your body as you age: your eyes. Not an expensive supplement, not a trendy superfood powder, not a miracle pill. Just a humble vegetable sitting quietly in grocery stores across America. A vegetable so nutrient-dense that many researchers consider it one of the most powerful foods for healthy aging. And yet, millions of people walk right past it every week. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story of kale, and why this ordinary-looking leaf might be doing something extraordinary inside your body. But what makes kale so special? Why are researchers, nutrition experts, and longevity advocates paying so much attention to it? And could adding more of it to your diet become one of the simplest investments in your future health? Stay with us, because some of the most surprising benefits have absolutely nothing to do with vision. When most people think about healthy foods, they often picture complicated diets, exotic ingredients, expensive health products, or restrictive eating plans. But sometimes the most powerful nutritional tools are hiding in plain sight. Kale is one of those foods. For years, it was overlooked, ignored in favor of more popular vegetables. Often used alayhi salam decoration on restaurant plates, rather than something people actually wanted to eat. Then something interesting happened. Researchers began taking a closer look. The more they studied kale, the more impressive it became. This leafy green turned out to contain an incredible collection of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and plant compounds that work together in ways scientists are still trying to fully understand. And among those compounds are two nutrients that have captured enormous attention in the world of eye health: lutein and zeaxanthin. You may not have heard those names before, but your eyes certainly know them. Because these nutrients naturally accumulate inside the retina and the macula, the parts of the eye responsible for helping you see the world clearly. As we continue through this video, you'll discover why that matters, and why protecting your vision might start long before you ever notice a problem. Let's talk about something most people rarely think about until much later in life. Vision loss rarely happens overnight. Instead, it often develops slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. One year, everything seems normal. A few years later, reading menus feels harder. Night driving becomes uncomfortable. Bright lights seem more intense. Colors may appear less vibrant. And because the process is gradual, many people simply assume it's an unavoidable part of getting older. But researchers now understand that nutrition plays a much bigger role in eye health than previously believed. Think about it. Your eyes are constantly exposed to light. Every day, every hour, every minute you're awake. Over decades, that's an enormous amount of exposure. And just like sunlight can slowly fade a photograph, certain forms of stress can affect delicate tissues inside the eye. This is where kale enters the story, because hidden inside those dark green leaves are natural pigments that act almost like internal sunglasses. Not literally, of course, but in a fascinating biological sense. Lutein and zeaxanthin help filter certain wavelengths of light and support the health of sensitive eye tissues. And here's something most people don't realize. The human body cannot make these nutrients on its own. We must obtain them through food.
Which means the choices we make at breakfast, lunch, and dinner may quietly influence our long-term eye health for years to come. But vision is only the beginning, because the same nutrients that support healthy eyes are also connected to some surprisingly powerful benefits throughout the entire body. And the next benefit might completely change how you think about this simple leafy green. Long before kale became a modern health trend, long before smoothie recipes flooded social media, and long before nutrition experts began calling it a superfood, people were already growing it for thousands of years.
In fact, kale is believed to be one of the oldest cultivated vegetables in human history. Ancient farmers in Europe relied on hardy leafy greens that could survive difficult weather conditions. Unlike delicate crops that struggled in cold temperatures, kale often thrived. It became a dependable source of nourishment during seasons when fresh foods were scarce. Generation after generation continued growing it. Not because scientists told them to, not because influencers recommended it, but because people noticed something important. Communities that regularly consumed nutrient-rich vegetables often seemed healthier and more resilient. Of course, they didn't know about antioxidants. They didn't know about lutein. They didn't know about vitamin K or carotenoids. But they understood a simple truth. Certain foods made people feel stronger, and kale earned its place among them. Today, modern science is beginning to explain why. What's fascinating is that many ancient food traditions around the world have something in common. They consistently emphasize dark leafy greens, again and again, across different cultures, different climates, different centuries. The same pattern keeps appearing. And that raises an interesting question. Were our ancestors noticing benefits long before science had the tools to measure them? The answer may surprise you. Because the first major benefit goes far beyond vision.
Your heart performs an astonishing job every day, without breaks, without vacations, without ever asking for recognition. It beats roughly 100,000 times, and every beat depends on a complex network of nutrients and biological processes working together. Kale contains compounds that support cardiovascular health in several ways. Its fiber content may help support healthy cholesterol levels when consumed as part of an overall healthy diet. Its antioxidants help combat oxidative stress, and its potassium content supports normal blood pressure regulation. Think of your cardiovascular system like a highway network. Over time, wear and tear can accumulate.
Healthy lifestyle choices help keep traffic flowing smoothly. And kale happens to be one of the foods that can contribute to that process. Not because it's magic, but because nutrition matters. Day after day, year after year, meal after meal. Small choices become powerful over time. Now here's something many people don't expect. The same nutrients associated with eye health may also play a role in supporting healthy brain function. Researchers have found that lutein isn't only present in the eyes, it's also found in the brain. That discovery surprised many scientists. Why would a nutrient known for eye health be concentrated in brain tissue?
Researchers are still exploring the answer, but growing evidence suggests that nutrient-rich diets containing leafy greens may help support cognitive health as we age. Think about your brain for a moment. It's the command center for everything, every memory, every conversation, every goal, every dream. Protecting your brain isn't just about preventing problems, it's about preserving the experiences that make life meaningful. And sometimes, that process begins with something as simple as what's on your plate.
Modern life places enormous demands on the human body. Stress, pollution, lack of sleep, processed foods, long hours in front of screens.
All of these factors can contribute to oxidative stress. You can think of oxidative stress as a kind of biological wear and tear. It happens naturally. But when it accumulates excessively, it may affect how cells function over time. Kale contains a variety of antioxidants that help support the body's natural defense systems. These compounds don't stop aging, nothing does. But they help the body manage some of the challenges associated with everyday living. And in today's world, that support may be more valuable than ever.
Let's be honest. Many people are searching for foods that help them feel satisfied without loading up on excessive calories. This is where kale quietly shines. It's remarkably nutrient-dense, meaning it provides substantial nutrition while remaining relatively low in calories. Its fiber content can help support feelings of fullness, and that's important because hunger is often one of the biggest obstacles to maintaining healthy eating habits. The goal isn't starvation. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is creating meals that nourish your body while helping you feel satisfied. And kale can be a useful tool in that strategy.
But what if I told you one of kale's most surprising benefits has absolutely nothing to do with weight, nothing to do with eyesight, and might actually influence how quickly your body appears to age? That's where we're headed next. If there is one thing almost everyone wants, it's not necessarily to live forever. It's to stay healthy for as long as possible. To remain active, independent, energetic, and able to enjoy life. This idea has become one of the biggest topics in modern wellness, not lifespan, but health span. The number of years you remain healthy and capable. And this is where kale becomes incredibly interesting.
Because many scientists studying longevity aren't looking for miracle foods. They're looking for patterns. Patterns among people who age well. Patterns among populations known for long, healthy lives. And one pattern appears again and again. A diet rich in vegetables, especially dark leafy greens. Kale contains a wide range of antioxidants and plant compounds that help support cellular health. Think of your body as a house. Every day, small amounts of wear and tear occur. Nothing dramatic, just tiny signs of aging accumulating over time. Good nutrition helps your body maintain and repair itself more effectively. It's not about reversing age.
It's about supporting the systems that help you age better. And that's a much more realistic and powerful goal. But aging isn't only about what happens inside the body. It's also about what we see in the mirror. And that's where the next benefit becomes especially interesting.
Your skin is your body's largest organ, and it tells a story. Sometimes that story reflects stress, sometimes poor sleep, sometimes poor nutrition. Many people spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year on skincare products. But what if part of the answer starts from within? Kale contains vitamin C, one of the most important nutrients involved in collagen production. Collagen is a protein that helps maintain the structure and elasticity of the skin. As we age, collagen production naturally declines. That's completely normal, but providing your body with the nutrients it needs may help support healthy skin from the inside out.
Kale also contains antioxidants that help protect cells from everyday environmental stressors. Think about how much your skin experiences. Sunlight, wind, pollution, temperature changes. Your skin is constantly working, and nutrient-rich foods help support that work. Many people focus exclusively on what they put on their skin, but healthy skin is also influenced by what they put on their plate. And speaking of protection, the next benefit may be one of the most important of all, because it involves the body's first line of defense. Imagine your immune system a highly trained security team. Every day, every hour, every minute, it's monitoring, responding, protecting, and doing countless jobs behind the scenes that most of us never think about. The immune system relies on a steady supply of nutrients to function properly. Vitamin C, vitamin A, various antioxidants, and kale happens to provide several of these important nutrients. No single food can make you invincible. That's not how health works. But consistently eating nutrient-rich foods helps give your body the building blocks it needs. And consistency matters more than perfection. One healthy meal won't transform your life. But thousands of healthy meals over years, that's where real change happens.
The truth is, many of the benefits people notice from healthier eating don't happen overnight. They're subtle, gradual, and often powerful precisely because they accumulate over time. Which brings us to a benefit many people feel much more quickly: energy.
Let's talk about something almost everyone struggles with: energy. Or more specifically, the lack of it. Many people start their day tired, rely on caffeine, experience an afternoon crash, then repeat the cycle the next day. The problem isn't always a lack of energy. Sometimes it's unstable energy. Kale contains nutrients involved in normal energy metabolism, including iron and several B vitamins. Combined with a balanced diet, these nutrients help support the body's natural energy-producing processes. And unlike sugary foods that create dramatic spikes and crashes, vegetables provide a steadier nutritional foundation. Think about building a campfire. Throwing paper onto the fire creates a quick burst of flames. But quality firewood burns longer and more consistently. Nutrition works in a similar way. Your body performs best when it's fueled with foods that provide lasting support. And here's something fascinating. Many people begin eating kale because they want to protect their eyesight, only to discover improvements in completely different areas of their lives. Better eating habits, more vegetables overall, more awareness of their health. Sometimes one small change creates a ripple effect. But kale's story is far from over. Because some of its most overlooked benefits involve the digestive system, blood sugar balance, and even sleep quality. And one common mistake people make with kale may be preventing them from getting the benefits they're looking for. If there is one part of the body that scientists seem to be talking about more every year, it's the gut. For decades, most people thought digestion was simply about breaking down food. But today, researchers understand that the digestive system influences far more than that. Energy, comfort, immune function, even aspects of mood and overall well-being. And one of the most important nutrients for digestive health is fiber. Unfortunately, many Americans consume far less fiber than recommended. That's a problem because fiber helps support healthy digestion and regular bowel movements. Kale provides a meaningful amount of dietary fiber. Think of fiber as part of your digestive system's maintenance crew. It helps keep things moving, supports a healthier digestive environment, and contributes to feelings of fullness after meals. Many people focus on calories, others focus on protein, but fiber often gets overlooked. And yet, it may be one of the most valuable nutrients in a healthy diet. What's interesting is that improving digestive health often creates benefits that extend far beyond the gut itself. And one area where that connection becomes especially important is blood sugar balance. Blood sugar affects far more than most people realize. When blood sugar levels swing dramatically throughout the day, people often experience fatigue, hunger, cravings, difficulty concentrating, and energy crashes. One reason vegetables like kale are so valuable is because they're naturally low in sugar while providing fiber and important nutrients. When included as part of a balanced meal, kale can help create a more satisfying eating experience. And satisfaction matters. Because one of the biggest challenges in modern nutrition isn't a lack of information,
It's consistency. Many people know what healthy eating looks like. The difficult part is maintaining it. Foods that increase fullness and support balanced meals make consistency easier. And consistency is where results happen. Not in one day, not in one week, but over months and years. Now let's move to a benefit that becomes increasingly important as we age. A benefit many people don't think about until something goes wrong. Imagine reaching your 70s, your 80s, maybe even your 90s. What kind of life do you want to live? Most people don't dream about merely living longer. They dream about staying mobile, independent, and active. Healthy bones play a major role in that future.
And kale contains an often overlooked nutrient that contributes to bone health: vitamin K. In fact, kale is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K available. This nutrient plays an important role in bone metabolism and overall skeletal health. It's easy to forget that our bones are living tissue. They're constantly remodeling, constantly adapting, constantly maintaining themselves. Just like every other system in the body, they depend on proper nutrition. The choices we make today help build the foundation for the decades ahead. And speaking of foundations, there's another foundation of health that millions of people struggle with every night: sleep. When people think about sleep, they usually think about what happens at night. But quality sleep often begins much earlier, throughout the day, with movement, stress management, and nutrition. While kale isn't a sleeping pill, it contains nutrients involved in many important bodily processes that support overall health and wellness. A well-nourished body tends to function more efficiently, and healthy daily habits often create better conditions for restorative sleep. Many people search for complicated solutions, yet some of the biggest improvements come from strengthening the basics: nutrition, exercise, hydration, sleep hygiene. Kale fits naturally into that bigger picture. But before you rush to buy a giant bag of kale, there's something important you need to know. Because many people make the exact same mistake. And that mistake may be preventing them from getting the full value from this remarkable vegetable. Here's the surprising truth. Many people try kale once and never eat it again. Why? Because they prepare it poorly. Raw kale can sometimes be tough, bitter, and difficult to enjoy. As a result, people assume they simply don't like it. But preparation changes everything. Massaging kale with a little olive oil can soften its texture. Light cooking can make it easier to eat.
Adding it to soups, smoothies, omelets, or grain bowls can dramatically improve the experience. The goal isn't to force yourself to eat kale. The goal is to find a version you'll actually enjoy consistently. Because the healthiest food in the world won't help much if it stays in your refrigerator untouched. And what we're about to discuss next may completely change how you look at kale forever. We're diving into the myths, surprising facts, and the science behind why some people seem to benefit more than others. One of the biggest misconceptions about kale is that it's only for extreme health enthusiasts. People imagine expensive smoothies, complicated diets,
Or lifestyles that seem impossible to maintain. But the reality is much simpler. Kale isn't a specialty food. It's just a vegetable. A nutrient-dense vegetable that can fit into almost any eating style. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to become obsessed with nutrition. Sometimes the biggest health improvements begin with surprisingly small choices. Adding one serving here, one healthier meal there, one better habit at a time. And that's often how lasting change happens.
Many people assume raw vegetables are automatically healthier.
But nutrition is rarely that simple. Cooking changes food. Sometimes nutrients decrease. Sometimes nutrient availability actually improves. The truth is, both raw and cooked kale can have a place in a healthy diet. Raw kale works well in salads and smoothies. Cooked kale becomes softer, easier to chew, and more enjoyable for many people. The best form? The one you'll eat consistently. Because perfect nutrition that never happens is less valuable than good nutrition that becomes part of your everyday life. Here's another common mistake. People hear about a healthy food and assume more must be better.
But health rarely works that way. You don't need giant bowls of kale every day. You don't need kale at every meal. And you certainly don't need to force-feed yourself foods you dislike. A balanced diet is built on variety. Kale can be one valuable piece of that puzzle, not the entire puzzle itself. Remember, health isn't created by one superfood. It's created by patterns, and patterns are easier to maintain when they're realistic. Earlier, we mentioned two fascinating nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin. Let's take a closer look. These naturally occurring pigments belong to a family of compounds called carotenoids. What's remarkable is where they accumulate.
Inside the retina, especially in the macula, the area responsible for central vision. Scientists believe these compounds help support eye health by helping filter certain wavelengths of light and supporting the eye's natural protective systems. Think of them as members of an internal support team working quietly behind the scenes. You don't notice them, you can't feel them, but they're there. Day after day, year after year, supporting one of your most precious senses. And perhaps the most fascinating part? The body depends on food sources to obtain them.
Which means every healthy meal becomes an opportunity to support your future vision. So what's the best way to eat kale? There isn't just one answer, but there are several highly practical options. Many people enjoy kale in smoothies, blended with berries, bananas, Greek yogurt, or protein powder. Others prefer it sautéed with garlic and olive oil. Some add it to soups, stews, omelets, pasta dishes, or grain bowls. The secret isn't finding the healthiest recipe. The secret is finding the recipe you'll actually make again next week and the week after that. Consistency beats perfection every single time.
Now, here's a fascinating fact. Some of kale's most valuable nutrients are fat-soluble. That means your body absorbs them more effectively when consumed with healthy fats. This is one reason nutrition experts often recommend pairing kale with foods like olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, or fatty fish. Imagine receiving a package. Healthy fats help your body unpack and utilize some of the nutrients more efficiently. It's a simple adjustment, but sometimes the smallest adjustments create surprisingly meaningful differences. People often ask, should I eat kale in the morning, at lunch, or at dinner? The honest answer is refreshingly simple.
The best time is the time you'll consistently eat it. A kale smoothie can be a great breakfast. A salad works beautifully at lunch. A cooked vegetable side dish fits perfectly at dinner. Nutrition isn't a competition. It's a long-term relationship, and consistency matters far more than timing. Here's a thought worth remembering. The greatest benefit of kale may not be any single nutrient. It may be what happens when eating kale encourages you to eat more vegetables overall. Because health rarely comes from one food. It comes from a collection of habits. One meal becomes another. One choice leads to another. One healthy action inspires the next. And sometimes,
A simple green leaf becomes the beginning of a much bigger transformation. But can eating kale actually make a noticeable difference in real people's lives? Let's look at several powerful stories that reveal what happened when ordinary individuals made this vegetable a regular part of their routine. Michael was 54 years old when he noticed something subtle. Nothing dramatic. Nothing alarming. Just small changes. Reading emails became slightly harder. Night driving felt more stressful. Restaurant menus seemed blurrier than before. At first, he ignored it. Like many people do. After all, life was busy. Work deadlines. Family responsibilities. Daily routines.
But eventually, Michael realized something important. His future health wasn't going to take care of itself. He began making small adjustments, nothing extreme. More walking, better sleep, more vegetables. And among those vegetables was kale. Now, kale wasn't the reason for every improvement he experienced, but it became part of a broader commitment to healthier living. Months later, Michael described something interesting. He felt more in control, more intentional, more connected to his health. And sometimes that's where transformation begins. Not with a miracle, but with awareness. The moment you stop assuming your future health is guaranteed and start investing in it.
Sarah was constantly exhausted. Not the kind of tiredness that disappears after a good night's sleep. The deeper kind. The kind millions of Americans know all too well. Morning coffee, afternoon crash, evening fatigue. Then repeat, day after day. She wasn't looking for a superfood. She wasn't trying to become a wellness influencer. She simply wanted more energy to enjoy life. As she improved her diet, she began incorporating more nutrient-rich foods. Kale became one of them. Over time, something changed. Not overnight, not dramatically, gradually. She started feeling more satisfied after meals. She became more mindful of what she ate.
Her overall nutrition improved. And perhaps most importantly, she stopped chasing quick fixes. Because real health rarely arrives in dramatic bursts. It often arrives quietly, built through hundreds of small decisions. And that's a lesson worth remembering. When Robert retired, he made an unusual decision. He didn't focus on how long he wanted to live. He focused on how he wanted to live. His goal was simple: stay active, stay mobile, stay independent. He wanted to travel, play with his grandchildren, enjoy life without constantly worrying about his health. So he began building habits around that vision: regular walks, strength training, better nutrition.
More vegetables. Less processed food. Kale became a regular part of his meals because it supported the type of eating pattern he wanted to maintain. Years later, Robert often tells people something fascinating. The biggest benefit wasn't any single food. It was the mindset shift. He stopped asking, "How can I fix my health?" and started asking, "How can I support my health every day?" That single question changed everything. Jennifer wasn't convinced by health trends. In fact, she was skeptical. Every year seemed to bring a new miracle food, a new miracle supplement, a new miracle solution. So she decided to run a simple experiment. For several months, she focused on one goal: eat more real food, less processed food, more vegetables, more consistency, less perfection. Kale became one of several vegetables she incorporated into her routine. And what surprised her most wasn't the kale itself. It was how one healthy choice led to another. A healthier breakfast led to a healthier lunch. A healthier lunch led to better evening decisions. The momentum began to build. And that's one of the most powerful forces in health: momentum. Because success becomes easier when healthy habits start reinforcing one another.
Ask older adults what they wish they had done sooner, and you'll hear many different answers. Spent more time with family, taken more chances, traveled more, worried less. But you'll also hear something else. Many wish they had taken better care of their health earlier. Not because they're obsessed with living forever, but because health affects everything. The ability to travel, to read, to drive, to play with grandchildren, to enjoy simple moments, to maintain independence. The challenge is that health often feels invisible when we have it. We assume it will always be there, until one day we realize it's something that must be protected.
And that's what makes foods like kale so interesting. Not because they're magical, not because they guarantee anything, but because they represent a choice. A choice to invest in the future version of yourself. The version of you who will one day look back at the decisions you're making right now, and perhaps thank you for them. But before we finish this journey, there's one final question we haven't answered. If someone wanted to start today, what are the simplest, most practical steps they could take? And what is the biggest lesson kale teaches us about healthy aging? By now, you might be wondering, where do I start?
The good news is that healthy aging doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require a complete life overhaul, and it certainly doesn't require becoming obsessed with nutrition. Most of the time, meaningful change starts with a few simple actions repeated consistently. Here are 15 practical ways to bring more kale and more nutrition into your life. Number 1. Add a handful of kale to your morning smoothie. You may barely taste it, but your body will notice the nutrients. Number 2. Mix kale into soups and stews. It's one of the easiest ways to enjoy it. Number 3. Sauté it with olive oil and garlic. Simple, affordable, delicious. Number 4.
Combine it with eggs for breakfast. An easy nutritional upgrade. Number 5. Add it to grain bowls, rice, quinoa, farro, or whatever works for you. Number 6. Pair it with healthy fats like avocado or nuts. This helps support nutrient absorption. Number 7. Start small. You don't need huge servings. Consistency matters more than quantity. Number 8. Experiment with recipes. The best version of kale is the one you'll actually eat. Number 9. Keep washed kale ready in the refrigerator. Convenience often determines success. Number 10. Think addition, not restriction. Focus on adding nutritious foods rather than obsessing over what to eliminate. Number 11.
Build meals around color. The more natural colors on your plate, the better. Number 12. Eat more vegetables overall. Kale works best as part of a bigger nutritional picture. Number 13. Stay physically active. Nutrition and movement work together. Number 14. Prioritize sleep. Recovery matters. And number 15. Think long-term. Health is not a 30-day challenge. It's a lifelong relationship. And every healthy choice becomes a vote for the future you want.
Elias Salam, we come to the end of this story. It's worth remembering something important. This video was never really about kale. Not entirely. Yes, kale contains lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin K, vitamin C, fiber, and countless other beneficial compounds. Yes, it may help support healthy vision, healthy aging, heart health, brain health, digestive health, and much more. But the deeper lesson goes beyond any single vegetable. Because the truth is this: there will never be one perfect food, one perfect supplement, one perfect secret. Health is built differently. It's built through patterns, through habits, through small choices repeated over years.
Most people underestimate the power of tiny actions because tiny actions don't feel dramatic.
A healthy lunch doesn't seem life-changing. A morning walk doesn't seem life-changing. Adding kale to dinner doesn't seem life-changing. But decades later, those small actions often become the difference between simply getting older and aging well. Imagine yourself 20 years from now. Take a moment and picture that person. Where are they? What do they look like? How do they feel? Can they travel? Can they read comfortably? Can they enjoy time with loved ones? Can they move freely? Can they experience life fully? Now ask yourself a powerful question. What choices is that future version of you hoping you'll make today? Because health is one of the few investments where the rewards often arrive years later. And unlike money, you can't simply earn it back once it's gone. The habits you build now become the foundation for the life you'll live later. And that's why seemingly ordinary foods deserve our attention. Not because they're exciting, but because they're powerful in quiet ways. The same way aging happens quietly. The same way health is protected quietly, one day at a time. The next time you walk through the produce section of a grocery store, you may see kale a little differently. Not as a trendy health food, not as a miracle cure, but as a reminder. A reminder that extraordinary benefits often come from ordinary choices. A reminder that protecting your future doesn't always require dramatic action. Sometimes it begins with a simple decision made today. A healthier meal, a healthier habit, a healthier direction. Because every day, your body is working for you. Your heart, your brain, your eyes, your immune system, your future.
And perhaps the greatest act of gratitude is giving your body the support it deserves. If you found this video valuable, take a moment to share it with someone you care about. You never know whose future health might benefit from hearing this message. And we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried kale? How do you enjoy it? Or what healthy habit has made the biggest difference in your life? Leave a comment below. Your experience might inspire someone else to begin their own journey towards healthier aging.
If you enjoy evidence-based wellness, healthy aging, nutrition insights, and practical strategies for living a longer, healthier life, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you for spending this time with us. Take care of your health. Take care of your future. And we'll see you in the next video.